All right. Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming on to this very important Zoom regarding our collective proposed Grand Festival. The first one will be Monaco, and I got some good news on that side to update you on that front. And then, obviously, with Jessica and Paul, we're looking also at UAE, and Mark also know we also have in connection with the representative of Hawaii who also want us to have it hosted in Hawaii. So Andrea and I met separately with Jessica and Paul a few days ago, and then we met with Mark as well to go over the details of this three-legged stool that we are putting in place. This three-legged that operates on our collective holistic operation of art, business, and charity. So art will be basically Mark's handle, and the business side will be handled by Jessica and Paul, and obviously the charity side will be headed by Andrea and myself. So now everyone here now knows pretty much myself and Andrea, so we don't really have to introduce ourselves since we met Mark and Jessica and Paul. So I'm going to start with Mark, the first leg of our Trinity, Mark, the art, and then I'm going to go on to business and let Jessica and Paul introduce themselves. So Mark, please introduce yourself. Don't be shy, and tell them all about your background and how you can basically get this Grand Festival handle on behalf of our collective. So Mark, over to you, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Leon, and great to meet everyone. This is an exciting project. Obviously, step-by-step project because it is massive, but step by step with the right people, nice, tight team. It will be seamless. It'll be not easy to do, but it'll be seamless. So just a brief background on myself. I'm originally from New York, from Yonkers, the Bronx. I went to Boston College on a football and track scholarship where I double majored in finance and philosophy. After Boston College, I moved out to Los Angeles to get into acting and producing. Had some success with that, but in the process, I was friends with a lot of A-list celebrities, a lot of studio heads, a lot of entrepreneurs, which really helped with my business in the future. So I was, flying on private jets and, going to red carpet, Grammy, Oscar parties, but still trying to figure out how I'm going to pay my phone bill, because it was my beginning stages. But I attracted all these really high-level people. So with that, I would have people from New York, from Miami, from Boston coming to me that were entrepreneurs saying, "Hey, I have a clothing line or I have a sneaker line. Do you think you can, get my T-shirts to Jamie Foxx? Do you think you can get my sneakers to Jerry Seinfeld or Jeremy Renner or Mark Wahlberg?" And I was like, "Yeah, send them to me and I'll get it to them." So I would get it to them. They would wear the stuff on the red carpet. And these friends of mine were telling me, "Man, I had such a spike in my company. Thank you so much for getting that to these celebrities." I said, "Oh, no problem." I didn't know there was an actual business in that. So then a friend of mine approached me with a spirits company that was new. It was exciting, but they didn't have the celebrity relationships and the know-how to really move that product forward. So they asked me if I would handle it on the West Coast. And in doing that, they would give me ownership. They would, we'd be partners. It was just three of us. So I agreed to it and just worked on it for a year without getting paid because it was a really close friend of mine. But then after 2 years of being on that project, we ended up selling it to a major. We sold it to Heaven Hill. It got acquired. So Heaven Hill is the biggest family-owned bourbon-based distillery in the U.S. out of Kentucky. So the product was Hypnotic, and it was really a game changing product in the spirits industry because it was really the first time that a brand successfully on the spirit side um, interwove culture and celebrities into the brand and had real success with it. So it was a real game changer, not only in the spirits industry but uh, on the tech side. um, Other companies would adopt how I integrated celebrities and culture into their products, and it seemed to be a winning blueprint for a lot of companies. So then we launched another brand called Nuvo, which was a fusion of champagne and vodka, and it was almost looked like a perfume bottle that it was in. And within 3 years of building that brand, we sold it to Diageo. So that was my second acquisition. And then 3 months after that, Diageo came to us and they were like, "We don't understand how these three young guys are building these brands so quickly. Do you have anything else?" And we had another cognac fusion brand called 22 Marquis. We presented it to them, and they purchased that as well. So I stayed on for another 5 years with Diageo to help build those brands, and then eventually went off on my own and started getting deeper into producing TV and film and music videos. And that was really a big part of our marketing with these brands is product placement in music videos, song integrations in music artist songs, and then also the integration in TV and film. So I built up this really long list of record labels that I partnered with, agencies, celebrities. So that became kind of my niche where people would call me and just ask me, "Hey, you know, we're shooting this music video for uh, Lady Gaga, or we're getting ready to launch this new artist, Lady Gaga. Can you help out and support with the launch of her?" Which is what I did with Lady Gaga in the very beginning. Nuvo was a part of everything that she did. So had a lot of success with that, and now my day to day is I have a vodka called Royal Elite, and vodka is the biggest category in the world. 38% drink vodka, so my focus is going to be launching this brand. But the thing that I really kind of pat myself on the back being able to do, and it comes with me watching as a kid my mother with her relationships, is I'm able to connect all these dots very seamlessly, very clearly, and very easily because I keep such strong relationships with these people that I met 25 years ago um, uh, in college or when I first moved out to Los Angeles. So I'm able to call them directly, which is like, for instance, like with a Jamie Foxx, I'm at his house all the time. One of my best friends is his manager. So if I want to do something with Jamie Foxx, I don't go through anybody but Jamie Foxx. I call him directly and say, "Hey, this is what I'm looking to do. Are you interested? Can you help out?" Or if I'm trying to get to a relationship that he has, I can call him directly and he's like, "Yeah, let me put you in touch with him, and you guys work it out," because of the trust that we have and the integrity that I have with my relationships. So what we're doing with this grand festival is just another seamless way I can connect the dots and you know call up these, like I'm friends with Lori Feldman and Casey Wasserman that run Wasserman. So Wasserman is doing the Olympics. They're the company that is doing the Olympics here in LA in 2028. So and they also do touring for Dua Lipa, for um, Lady Gaga, for Ed Sheeran, for a lot of these artists that we could potentially use. So I would just package a lot of this stuff together with Wasserman, who would run day to day for us in helping to produce the event. But then they would also have artists that they can plug in, so it's a win-win for them because they're getting paid to help produce with us, but also they get a piece of the money that their artists would make for being a part of the show as well. So I have a lot of those type of relationships, and the same with big brands that I can help to bring in to for sponsorship and that type of thing also. So it's really
Well,
kind of a plug and play type thing. Yeah.
that is, of course, I've known you for a while, and we met up with you, LA, recently. So obviously, I'm already. I hear obviously the connectivity that you have, and it's obviously very, very impressive every time I hear it. So thank you for that quick introduction, Mark. So I think what you're capable of bringing on the art side is, like I said, unequal. So I'm going to let now Jessica handle the business side with her partner, Paul, and let them introduce themselves as well and why they're critical to this our Collective Grand Festival event. So, Jessica, since you're handling that, I'll let you introduce yourself and Paul as well. So, thank you, Jessica. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure to meet all of you. It's wonderful to meet you, Mark.
Yes, thank you.
Wonderful things about you, and I think the synergy for this project will be remarkable. I think we bring a lot of wonderful, let's say, input and attributes of our professional careers to make this project a success. So I'm actually a classically trained orthopedic surgeon, but I've been, let's say, blending the arts and medicine and business in a sort of holistic way in terms of merging my passions and merging my professional experience in the past. I'm actually from New York City as well, and I've been trained in the famed school, LaGuardia High School of Music and Art, for violin performance. Classically, I graduated from a class in 1999 actually, but many of the students in that alumni network are now in Hollywood. Lady Gaga happened to be one of the friends of one of my good friends as well. So it's a very synergized network. Adrian Brody graduated from that school. Jennifer Aniston, Nicolas Cage. So it's an elite network of alumni that might be able to also synergize with this possibility. So we are very well, let's say, networked and connected for synergistic applications, and we'll leverage that. I actually ended up going to traveling to Europe for my medical education. So I graduated from the Jagiellonian University in Krakow. I'm also Polish American, so wanted to get in touch with my roots. But during that time, I pursued classical medical studies. At the same time, also performed on violin. Had been involved with the United Nations affiliated International Federation of Medical Students Association, which supported organizations like UNICEF. So we've participated in these international opportunities to leverage charity philanthropy through launching educational initiatives that essentially created funding opportunities for this organization. But we've kind of synergized our arts and medical community, blended that to launch art exhibitions with prestigious entities like the Academy of Fine Arts in Krakow. Also, we are affiliated with the Académie des Beaux-Arts in Paris as well. So I have a network there to of course, leverage for the purposes of this project. At the same time, we've basically, we did so many different things, which of course I would be able to elaborate on. But most importantly, after my medical studies, I embarked on a actually residency of orthopedic surgery. That was my passion, surgery. So that opened up new doors for collaboration. I was basically employed in a hospital where it was a showcase hospital for the Esculap B. Braun company, a very, very large scale conglomerate in Germany that happened to create a showcase hospital in Krakow. So I was the head resident there. and also part of the executive board, basically because of the fact that I had, let's say, an international affiliations. It was the language thing. It was the fact that I had a bit of experience in let's say, business studies. I also happened to be connected to Perfect Translation, so I worked with them for the duration of my medical school. So a lot of my experience synergized with this opportunity to be a bit of a liaison between the medical field, being a resident class, training in orthopedic surgery and in sports medicine, but at the same time also kind of supporting the business sector there. So I was in executive let's say functions and various this decision making, how do I say this, situations for leverage and business development of that actual institution. So there were many scientific projects also that we were involved in with Escolab. So I traveled extensively between Germany and Poland for that time. So we were leveraging and bringing together a robotic kind of a surgical orthopilot, which was like a navigation sort of AI. Like before AI, that was a little bit of this kind of technology that allowed you to navigate with ease, the intraoperative conditions in knee replacement surgery. We also applied that for spinal surgery. So as part of let's say a research exchange and a possibility to further my surgical skills, I was delegated to one of the most prominent knee surgeons in Europe, named Professor Verdonk, René Verdonk, and his son also, Peter Verdonk, in Antwerp, Belgium. So I was their resident, and I was their like his right hand, basically for a duration of 2 years, and that was an incredibly, remarkably, actually, how would I say this, shaping experience in terms of, also training in orthopedics, but at the same time, becoming the liaison for some of their business connections. So they had connected me to Professor Brown from Harvard University, who happened to be the head of the International Knee Center in Abu Dhabi. So we had a partnership there. Much of that connection ended up being an ability to partner him with my husband's, because my husband's also a plastic surgeon. So we've been synergizing a lot of like our medical affiliations to bring leverage to business opportunities as well. So that's kind of my experience. But essentially, Professor Brown had been partnered with Valiant Clinic, where my husband was the general manager, and they had effectuated a very effective practice, knee surgery practice. So my experience is vast in terms of connecting, right? And that's my I would say is my leverage here. I'm able to bring to the table and to this opportunity much from the artistic sector. My stand partner from LaGuardia High School happens to be now the head violinist and soloist for the Hong Kong Philharmonic. So we would have that kind of a network, to harness. We can bring a very prestigious and impactful artistic, community to support. Mm-hmm. We have through, our friends, the Guggenheim. We have the Metropolitan Museum. We have the Museum of Modern Art. We would potentially have the Louvre as well to support the Grand Festival's arts and cultures initiatives. And now in terms of course, business. So after orthopedic surgery residency, I founded my own company called Regenexus Aesthetics that originally originated as a cosmetics, distribution company. My vision for this was basically to start out in a way that that supports, our efforts here in terms of the medical, affiliations that we're pursuing. So my husband happened to be also a trained, hair restoration surgeon. I obtained my qualifications also as a hair restoration surgeon. So after residency, I obtained qualifications in aesthetic medicine. I'm actually a diplomate of the American Academy of Aesthetic Medicine, and I have certification for hair restoration surgery as well. So I'm a hair restoration surgeon, but both of us are. And we devised, it was during the pandemic actually, we devised a hair restoration serum that is patented for hair growth promotion. And we came up with a gamma of products that support and synergize the practice of my husband, so his active hair restoration practice. So that was the business entity that sort of opened up this door for me in entrepreneurship. And I've been pursuing, various options in business promotion and networking. And at the same time, very recently, I met someone who opened up a door for me in fashion, in the fashion industry. I took that opportunity. It was Miss Catherine Schuller, of course, so who we all know and adore, and she's an incredible leverage for our collective efforts here for this grand festival, with many of her very impactful, very very how would I say this, synergistically appropriate connections and experience. But through her, I've been able to debut as a fashion model, do the things that one can do for leveraging certain business opportunities, right? So we partnered with as the creative director, along with Catherine, to curate events, for the United Nations Community Group. That happened to be something where we got a chance to promote some brands and designers. We were able to leverage some philanthropic efforts and bring a community of people interested in supporting the United Nations, Sustainable Development Goals. And that's where we began our process of the liaison, between business. So it's been a long-standing, wonderful and very creative, but also a productive, year and a half of efforts. We were able to showcase some designers also in Hollywood. So we've been really maximally, trying to synergize. Yes, connecting and uplifting brands. So I acted as an international brand ambassador and luxury brand ambassador for some of these designers. We were able to do something very exciting recently. We created an exhibition for New York Fashion Week this past February, with a grand scale, haute couture ball gown presented by one of these luxury, haute couture designers that we partnered with. I was involved in the design of this. So I also debuted as a fashion designer. I'm now a debuted fashion designer for my own collection and jewelry collection. So that's another avenue of what I've been up to, pursuing very creatively. We're just, synergizing opportunities and bringing it all to the table, whatever we can harmonize, and also, how do I say this, transduce into something positive. So for this debut in February, we created an exhibition that essentially presented the works of Bill Sienkiewicz. And Bill Sienkiewicz is a very famous comic book artist, who happened to have been chosen by Dent the Future and SpaceX to have his artwork launched as a payload, opportunity through SpaceX and through the, let's say, how do I say this, to the opportunity basically to increase, the value of the art and present it to the community and bring renown to his work. So his artwork was chosen. It's called Batman in Space, and Catherine and I created a presentation of this work, which received recognition, actually national recognition. So SpaceX had of course noticed, and we had that opportunity to kind of impact that leverage and bring a lot of media attention to what we were doing. So that kind of snowballed into what we have right now, which is wonderful synergy with basically Paul's network and Paul's let's say yes, the opportunity to bring a lot to the table in terms of business development, in terms of the media, PR, right, from Catherine's perspective, and also especially to bring a network of investors that might be able to leverage this for their interests as well. So we had met with Paul actually through a mutual contact that came to one of our fashion shows, and we were able to forge a wonderful relationship with them in order to partner together to bring the pillar of support for this part of the business and for the wonderful Grand Festival. So there's more I would love to contribute. Of course, there's so much more detail, but I think we can leverage this in a way that will truly harmonize all of our efforts. So I'm
perfect.
bringing. Yeah.
All right. Well, Jessica, this is a beautiful segue to the introduction to Paul. So, Paul, yeah. I want to ask you to give yourself an intro to, obviously, the rest of us know you very, very well, but could you give a little intro of yourself to Mark? I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you, Paul. You're on mute right now, Paul.
Hi. All right.
Thank you.
Can you guys hear me okay? Because I'm getting unstable internet warnings here in Lower Manhattan.
I can hear you loud and clear, Paul.
Okay, great.
Over to you, NASA.
So my background has been mostly in, I guess I spent the first 10 years of my life working for the big telcos. and learning my trade, which was international data networks, data networks. In that capacity, I had a chance to meet quite a few operators of networks, including some of the very wealthy people that built the networks around the world. They built MTN, they helped build Verizon and British Telecom and Vodafone. These are the people that I spent my first 10 years of my life working with and learning the craft. In 1992, I decided I could actually run my own business, build my own business to do what the big guys did. So that's when I founded a company called WorldLink, which was basically doing the same thing, international voice and data networks in second tier cities of the world. Cities like Lebanon, Rio de Janeiro, um, uh, um, other place, Moscow, which was a very fortuitous connection because back then Moscow had the great migration of people from Russia into the U.S. and they all needed a telephone company. We were the first private telephone company to Moscow, and we had a great number. So we were lucky. I tell people just it's better to be lucky than good because we actually were very lucky in that we all of a sudden we just started growing like crazy with all these customers calling Moscow their motherland after they came to the U.S. So we doubled our revenues every year for 10 years, and we reached something like 80, $90 million on the ninth year. We became a very large company quickly. So at that time, I tell people that there was a tech wreck of 2000. There was the 9/11 disaster. We survived all of that, but the one thing that we saw, the writing on the wall, was WhatsApp. Basically, the big guys, instead of charging for international telephone calls, they became free. Tough to compete with free. So we saw that writing on the wall, and we caught it early enough where I started marketing my company for sale back in 2006, 2005. It took us a couple of years. I spent my entire professional career on Wall Street, either building data networks for the banks or all the large brokerage houses down in that area. So by association, I knew everyone, just as you, Mark, were rubbing shoulders with all the celebrities in LA. I was rubbing shoulders with all the bankers on Wall Street, New York.
Mhm.
We raised our kids together. And just like you, when you call somebody and they pick up the phone, same here with me because they know me from coaching their kids in basketball. They know me because they see me on the commuter boat every day between New Jersey and New York, along with all the other Wall Street guys. So, long story short, I sold my business in 2007 in a large roll-up. So I took some time off after selling the business, and a large roll-up means I combined it with four other companies to reach a large enough transaction where the big banks took interest. After spending some time not doing much of anything except maybe fishing, I decided to get back into what I thought was a very interesting industry, which was the M&A industry, which means I either put companies together or I take them apart and sell the pieces. That's really what M&A is. It's called M&A and it's carve-outs. So for the last years, that's what I've been doing. So I've leveraged all my contacts as you did from my first 20 years on Wall Street to actually help startups, businesses grow, combine with other businesses, or dissolve themselves, separate themselves, and sell the pieces, M&A or carve outs. Um, I don't take on a lot of projects because I am what I would consider semi-retired. So what I do is I pick and choose my projects pretty carefully, and I end up putting a lot of energy once I do decide to take a project on, like Jessica's project. When Jessica introduced me to this, I felt that it was very interesting to say the least because it had some connections with parts of the world that I'm very familiar with, like Monaco, like Dubai, like that part of the world where where I spent time. I helped people install entire companies like the Monaco Telephone Company. That is one of my clients. And to this day, we still talk. They went on, besides the Monaco Telephone Company, they went on to buy quite a few other cell phone companies and combine them together in what is now called MTN, the largest cellular company in Africa and Asia. These are kind of my contacts that I've been leveraging for financial business reasons, and I think maybe I can do the same here with the collective and what we're trying to do in Monaco. So yeah,
Awesome.
that's it. Like you
Well,
said, Mark, in the beginning, there are a lot of pieces to this puzzle that have to be completed. It's not going to be easy. No, there's a lot of credibility that has to be cemented, both from the artistic side and what you have to do, Mark, as well as from my side, converting and Jessica's side, where we have to convert these to numbers and make the numbers believable so that we can go to the investor group and tell our story. So yeah, that's
all right.
so
Well,
back to you.
thank you, Paul.
Awesome.
Even though there's a lot of hard work, I am, yeah, by nature I'm optimistic, but in this case I'm very optimistic. Why? Why? Because we have the creme de la creme, right? We have the top of the people like Mark connectivity to Hollywood, like your Paul connection at the highest level to Wall Street. That's why I'm optimistic. All right. I'm not optimistic because I have a big mouth. I'm optimistic because my big mouth brought the right people on board, right? Like Mark said, Wiseman's going to run this event for us, not Dr. Ying, right? That's the caliber. And when we talked a few days ago, Paul, you said it's all about making sure that we can execute it. That's when the investor and the money people will put it forward. And with the caliber of Mark, Jessica, and yourself, Paul, and obviously my talented wife, I absolutely genuinely believe we can execute it. But now, the next stage, I just want to give you an update. So, Astrid, who Andrea and I went for the Golden Planet Award, already sent the package to the ambassador. That's the Monaco ambassador in Berlin, who she knows very well. All right. Once you receive the package, she's going to try and set up a private Zoom for Andrea and I to speak directly with the ambassador, who obviously is going to deliver, because it has to go through formal channels, our package directly to Crown Prince Albert II of Monaco. Now, when they set up that private Zoom with the ambassador, I am going to request Astrid allow me to bring on board you, Mark, you, Jessica, and you, Paul, to speak directly with the ambassador as well, to obviously show the three-legged stool. So Mark, the art side, business side, Jessica, you and Paul, and on the charitable side, me and Andrea. Okay, so that is the great news that I'm getting from Monaco now, that they will officially receive the package very soon, and they will set up a Zoom. And once I get those kind of details, I will obviously relay to you. I will obviously get permission for them for including you on the private Zoom. And talking about the three-legged stool, I think, like I said to you, from hearing that, I'm absolutely 100% even more convinced that the art's taking off, 100% that the business side of it's taking off. So obviously we have the charitable side. Like Sam, I am the big mouth, but my wife thankfully has all the talent. So I'm going to ask her to give a little intro. I know you all know, I already met Andrea and myself, but I would like her to give a quick little intro on herself and why she will represent the charitable side of this Grand Festival event. So, Andrea, over to you. Thank you.
Well, thanks, Leon. You always flatter me, but all of you guys already know me. If you want me to talk of the charitable side of things, well, I have, I have these conversations with you previously. Behind me, there's the logo of One Humanity, One World, which is my project to advocate for the human right of education. And my true passion, besides doing arts, because yes, I'm a film producer and an artist, but my other passion is how can we actually impact the world and make it a better place? Because as you guys know, we're living through dark times, but I think we can do something about it, especially people like you who are so incredibly powerful, wise, and with experience that you have, right? So the goal of One Humanity, One World is not just advocating for the human education of the human right that is education, but it's also to bring it to the most unprivileged and those that have absolutely nothing, right? So, in order to do that, one of our we collaborate with other NGOs that help build schools. But what I was thinking is that, there are many places on this planet where they don't even have electricity and they don't even know what the concept of a school is. And one of the great ideas we had was to as I did mention, I'm sure I mentioned it to you before, but we are creating this holistic educational new curriculum with holistic education, very good quality, so everyone can learn how to read, write, but not just read and write, but also environmental harmony, also how to have a good diet, also how to get a job, also practical things and practical solutions beyond reading and writing. Um, and we are putting that into a software that we are going to put on these iPads or these tablets. There are going to be solar panels, going to be charged by solar panels, so there's no need of electricity. And we want to bring these iPads or tablets to those who have no access to anything else. And because they are solar panel charged, they don't even need electricity in order to use them and learn with the curriculum with them. So obviously that's the project of OHAO that we're handling, right? And I really see this project of the Grand Festival as an incredible opportunity to raise awareness. I think that if we're gonna make a massive shows, that it's also gonna be televised, that it's gonna be streamed, that it's gonna be filmed, that it's gonna have a global outreach, and we're definitely with the caliber of people that we have, this can become a global phenomenon, right? So with that reach to people that we have, I think it brings a lot to the purpose of the project, that is not just making money for making money's sake, but to actually bring that awareness, uh, talk also about our project. And we're even considering the making of a new song that, like, you guys know Live Aid, of course, and you guys, of course, the most famous Michael Jackson song, We Are the World, We Are the Children, right? So those were songs that were raised to help end the famine, the hunger. But I want to make a song to help kill this education crisis that we have in the planet. As you guys know, 40% of the global population cannot read or write. And I want to make a song to help end that. Obviously, I'm not going to be the one making it. I'm not the one that is going to be singing it. I'm a terrible singer. You guys don't even want to hear me sing in the shower. I'll tell you, that's awful. But I know that thanks to the people in this room, we have access to incredibly talented people that if they collaborate together and we make this event, I would love to do something like this. Now, we have to think about the massive impact and publicity that will bring to the event. Because I think when we bring a cause and a purpose, that drives even more people towards it. Because then even people, like, I'll tell you something. My mother doesn't like arts or music, but when the Live Aid came out, she went and buy the CD because she thought she was being part of a bigger cause. She didn't even like or enjoy the arts, but her whole family bought a CD because she was like, oh, we are being part of something bigger, right? Well, that was many, many years ago. Imagine today, imagine the impact what we can have today, and imagine how much we could do. And I think that would also help the government support this because the head of state, Prince Albert, he really cares about the environment and the planet, but his wife is an advocate for education rights. And that's why we also plan to invite her to our NETSI United Nations event that is going to be focused on education, because I think that's a practical solution for world peace, if you ask me. And I know they believe that need too. So if we tell them that, okay, yes, we're going to bring a lot of money, which everyone loves. We need money for everything. And who doesn't love getting rich? But if we're telling them, oh, we're also bringing this purpose and this holistic side that is going to drive people together, that is going to make even more people want to be part of it. I think that adds massive value. So those are my thoughts on this. And you're all welcome.
Those are beautiful
Yeah.
thoughts,
Yeah.
Andrea, and
I
that's
just
why I thank Mark. You want to say something, Mark?
Yeah, just because Andrea brought that up about the song, I just wanted to let everybody know that my strategy with this in bringing Jamie Foxx in to host it. So he would be the one that introduces the artist, and in between, gets the crowd going, excited, tells some jokes, all that stuff. And obviously, he's a Academy Award winner, A-lister. But my strategy is he has a deal with Netflix. So he's actually in New Jersey right now shooting a film for Netflix. And because of him, I met one of our friends now. His name is Alex Avant. So Alex Avant is the son of Clarence Avant, who Netflix did a documentary on him called The Black Godfather. So he was behind a lot of the Motown stuff and all that other stuff. But Alex Avant, his sister, Nicole Avant, is married to Ted Sarandos, who is the CEO of Netflix. So that's how Jamie Foxx got his deal, directly through Ted Sarandos. So I've become, I can't say a friend, but I've become an associate to Ted because I go to his events. I've been to his house. We do the Netflix party every year for the Academy Awards. I sit at his table. So the strategy would be, under Jamie Foxx's deal, we shoot a, what you want to call, like, kind of like a documentary leading up to this grand festival in Monaco, because Monaco is, the rest of the world would want to see that. We shoot leading up to the event, the behind the scenes, Jamie Foxx on the private jet, getting ready at his house in Los Angeles and flying out to Monaco, and then picking up the artists, them arriving, all that other stuff. And the grand finale of the whole thing would be the concert that would be documented also. Obviously, I haven't proposed this to Fox yet, but this is one of the things that I would want to do, and it makes perfect sense, because it is the grand festival, and it is all these A-listers that we're going to have a part of it. It's in Monaco. It just makes sense to shoot it and put it into, and we have the access with Netflix. So just wanted to put that out there with you guys.
It is. Not only makes sense, it's a necessity. I think what you just described is absolutely amazing, and will turn this grand festival. I said to you when I said the greatest show on earth, I actually do mean it. Okay, and obviously I love my talented TriStar partner, Andrea went to be part of that co-production as well, Mark, okay? Because she's a talented filmmaker as well. But anyway, I think this has been an extremely productive conversation between the three-legged stool that will have equal share, equal ownership, equal decision-making, equal profit sharing. The art, the business, and charity. The art headed by Mark, the business headed by Jessica and Paul, and the charity headed by myself and Andrea. Now, Jessica and Mark, I've already sent you the simple, because I like a simple contract. I don't like 300-page things with small print and like that. We can get to those when we actually come to signing the actual full contract with these celebrities. But for our relationship, I just want something very, very simple in plain English, right? And that's what I delivered to you, Jessica, and I delivered to you, Mark. So if there's no disagreement, nothing changed. The only thing I put, Mark, I put your address and my address. Jessica, if you want to add your address on there as well, make sure that the corporate entity is correct. Then if there's no change, I ask you, Jessica, to sign it on behalf of the business side, you and Paul. And Mark, I ask you to sign it on behalf of the art side. And my talented wife, Andrea, who's the chairman of TriStar, which is our non-for-profit organization, which operates under our collective, will do one signing for the charity side. Okay. Does that sound good for you, Mark?
Well,
you read the MOU, right?
guys, I don't sign contracts without an attorney going through them first. I just want to say, I'm a little particular about that, especially when we get to a project of this size. I think it
Yeah.
would be important for an attorney to do a good review, and I also think it's
Okay.
important. I think it's important to think about the structure of this entity carefully, because what we're doing, what we're talking about creating here is a company that will have a lot of subparts. These subparts are going to be licensing out to Mark's contacts, to my financial people, to Jessica's contacts, to your own and Andrea's contacts. So we got to think about the structure carefully because we're talking about becoming, in essence, a
Okay,
license.
Paul, let me just interrupt you, okay? This is a MOU, which stands for Memorandum of Understanding. This is
Right.
not a contract. In
I
fact,
understand.
in the MOU, it clearly state we are not forming a partnership at this phase, okay?
Right.
This MOU has a NCNDA clause, which basically said, don't stab me in the back, okay?
Uh-huh.
So it's a simple MOU, which will take like 30 seconds, well, all right,
Okay.
a minute and a half to read. So, of course, I sent the forward, so I don't have your email. That's why I can forward it directly to you. So I assume
Yeah,
Jessica will
no,
I
forward
forwarded.
that to
Yes,
you.
yes, I forwarded.
So it will. It's
I'll
very, very simple. It
Jessica
just
and I
says
will,
that
Jessica and I will,
the three group
Yes,
will have right now will have equal ownership, equal decision making, and equal profit sharing, and
yes,
that this is the focus of this grand festival. Okay. So I want to keep it simple. Okay.
if you
Have your
don't mind,
lawyer read it.
this is the
Right,
first
have
time
your
I'm.
lawyer read it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's nothing complicated
No,
about
no, no,
it.
no.
Okay.
It's the first time I'm seeing it. I'm going to discuss it with Jessica, and we'll be
Okay, yeah,
back
yeah,
to
no,
you after the
yes,
okay,
weekend.
no,
yes,
no, I
yes,
apologize. That's what I'm saying. I don't have your email. You know me. Everyone that here on this email knows that
Okay.
I'm very transparent. I always forward the document to everyone, but I
No
don't have
worries,
your
no worries.
personal email.
gentlemen.
Okay.
So I only send this MOU to Jessica
Yes,
and Mark. So she will forward that over to you. So get that signed because that's an
yes,
NCNDA. Because like I said to you, Mark and Ding and yourself will obviously open up various channels, and we want to
yes,
have at least a
yes,
little bit of protection in that. Okay,
yes,
that's what
yes,
the MOU is there for. Okay,
yes.
so it's very, very simple. Okay,
Young, Dr. Yang,
yeah,
yes, I forward. I just wanted to, from my side and from our side, on on behalf of myself and Paul, what we had discussed. So yeah, we are absolutely on board in all regards. The MOU I forwarded to Paul. We didn't get a chance to
perfect.
just discuss the this because of timing. So we're gonna
Yes,
have a conversation right after. We're gonna have a meeting
all
with
right,
Paul tomorrow. Discuss
perfect.
the strategics because we have to think about the business development plan in all of this, the strategies, leveraging all of our contacts, how to perform the appropriate fundraising. And remember how we spoke after Paul had left during our meeting that yes, thirds, because we are equally representing a very, let's say, impactful and critical component of the effectuation of this project. So the Holy Trinity, as you said. However, just if there's any, let's say, leverage on the investor side that who wants to bring in a particular negotiation to the table, I was just asking and requesting of Mark and yourself if it's possible to be a bit flexible because we don't know what their conditions might
Absolutely,
be. So
absolutely,
we
and
want to
that's
have that
why.
ability to have a more
Absolutely,
fluid kind of,
yeah,
understanding of the conditions because maybe we can, it depends on what they want to leverage. Maybe we'll have to downsize our profits and then split that three ways. So we just have to
of course,
entertain
of
different
course.
different
Yeah,
options,
yeah.
right?
Sorry to interrupt. Of
Yes.
course. Like I said,
Yes.
I'm 64 years old. I've been in corporate business,
Yes.
working for $50 billion entity like Thermo Fisher. So I know the when the attorney needs to come in and make sure that every T and
Mhm,
every
mhm,
dot needs to be done on the
mhm.
1,000 page of legal agreement.
Yes.
We're
Yes.
not there yet.
Yes.
Okay.
So
All
my
right. So
my
we're
request.
only there with a 2 page MOU, which basically state
Yes.
what the plan and what the three-legged
Yes.
store is right now. Okay, so
Right.
very
Right.
simple. And more importantly, it has the NCNDA clause in that. Very,
Yes.
very simple. Just 4 lines, okay,
Yes.
which gives us a little bit of protection because, Paul, you're going to be releasing some important network
Mhm.
people to us. Mark's going to be releasing a lot important network people, and hopefully Andrea and I will be releasing. So that allows
Mhm.
them a
Mhm.
little comfort zone, okay? But
Absolutely.
I want it
Absolutely.
simple right now because I'm a
Yes.
stupid physicist, okay?
Yes.
I'm not a
No.
lawyer, so
No.
I need to
Yes.
keep everything simple at this early stage. Moving on, absolutely. Money talks. And in
Yes.
fact, Paul, just to give you, I made it clear, Mark will back me up. I said that, Mark, you will take care of the financial structuring. I described about the trust thing. I totally 100% agree with you because you have that experience on that side of it. Absolutely. So when you bring the money in, the structuring, where there's a special purpose vehicle, where there's a trust, we will ensure that you will put in place your CFO, which will be in charge of the money and the structuring of the various trusts, because that's your business. Like I said, my business is physics and Mark's business is show business. Okay?
Yes. Wonderful,
all right?
wonderful.
So anyway, but
Dr.
look
Ying.
at the MOU. Keep it simple for me right now,
Yes.
because I'm a physicist. And if you're ready to rock and roll on this, my advice is sign the MOU so we can at least kickstart things, okay?
Dr.
All right.
Ying, we are
Yeah.
absolutely ready to rock and roll, and we completely agree. The only thing I request for the MOU, if you don't mind, because we're not ready for the financial, discussions, if it's possible, because we do represent those three pillars, and yes, there's an, self-exclamatory, equal partition of effort and equal partition of profit that makes absolute sense for in a general understanding logically. But if there's anything to leverage financially for the investors, we have to perhaps maybe, if you agree, to remove the clause about the profit split. Let's just establish a memorandum of understanding for the collaboration for the three pillars that we provide, and then we can have another, let's say, meeting. We can add that into the MOU that the next meeting, or upon let's say mutual agreement, we will establish the profit sharing. Conditions.
I have no problem with that, and I assume Mark will have no problem with that.
Yeah,
so
that
delete the equal profit sharing from the MOU if that's the clause, or any other clause. Like I said, it's a 2-pager, so it'll take you a minute and a half to read it. I put it in plain English, so it should not be very difficult to understand all the terms. Okay.
Yes, perfect. So the profit sharing will be for the next.
And send it to me, and me and Mark will read it, and we all agree. Let's all three groups sign it so we can move on to the next exciting phase.
Excellent.
Okay.
And also, Paul, if you don't mind, if we can add you to that text chain that we have along with your email, so we can all correspond if needed.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So Jessica, if that's okay with you, that's why I say I don't want to be impolite and jump on your connection, but if you could include Paul's detail to us, so we can keep it in the small chain, and I'll make sure that obviously for this private group, anything is just between us for now, okay? And the reason I also want to write the MOU is I want to, as I said, prepare further Zoom to introduce you to, like I said, the ambassador and to the rest of the executive team on this. So, but I want that MOU in place just to give us all a little bit added protection, okay? So that's the next phase. Jessica, you and Paul, read the MOU, edit the little bit that you need to edit out or in, whatever it is, and send it back to Mark, myself, and then Mark, and I said Andrea and I will sign, and then we can rock and roll. Okay.
Wonderful.
Any other comments anyone wants to put in? Paul?
Thank you much. Jessica, we'll be talking.
Okay. Excellent.
All
Excellent.
right.
Thank you. That's wonderful. That's a great suggestion.
Blessing and love to you all.
I'll discuss with Jessica and get back to you. Thank you, guys.
All right,
Mark,
guys.
good connecting
God bless
with you.
everyone. Take
Bye-bye.
care.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Paul.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Jessica.
Thank you very much.